Good afternoon, YouTubers. Hey, it's been a busy morning around here. I know I haven't posted any videos in a few days. I'm working to get back on that. So today we got up and started the day with a normal get up and go make the rounds, check the cows and all that jazz. Had to go and pick the parts up for the 4030 this morning. They called and said they had the clutch and everything ready. Of course, when we got to John Deere, they had everything like they said they did, except for one pretty important gasket. And they had another guy come in, and so the mechanic said they had just done a clutch for 4430. And when that guy came and picked his clutch and stuff up, they sent my gasket that I need that goes between the transmission side and the engine side, the big gasket that goes around that housing. They had sent it with him. So that put us in a quandary. They said they would have one overnighted, and they're supposed to have it in the morning sometime about 11. So we'll make a trip back to town to pick that up tomorrow. So we got the parts for that. We went and picked up spray. We need to get on the pastures, spraying pastures for broadleaf stuff. So went and bought spray, bought a few other things while we were in town, doing our part to stimulate the economy. So got home and the wind is just blowing. It's crazy today, so there's no way we're going to be able to spray. So since we didn't have all our parts, that's kind of on pause. We did go ahead and build some stands. I don't know if you watched the video on the 4030 we've got up there now. We just had the front half of the tractor on a jack and separated it that way. We did build some stands that we mounted on to the front half of that tractor. So now it's on wheels and on stands. When we go back together, we'll be able to roll it back together more safe. When it's just on that jack and blocks, I don't feel comfortable with it. I'm always afraid we're going to lose it doing that. So now we have these stands built that are on wheels, and we should be able to, it'd be a lot safer going back together. So anyway, I'm back over at my place now. Ford, my son, he went to town to try to get his hair cut today. You know, he's 21, that's what they do. They gotta look good. So I'm basically by myself right now, and my wife is working from home, so I'm trying to leave her alone in there. So I said, well, I'm gonna go out to the shop and get back on this Ranger project that we talked about the other day. We kind of put a video up of prepping it and power washing it, trying to get it ready to start taking apart and see if we can make this thing run after catching on fire. So a little bit of backstory on that. Over the winter, Grandpa was going to work on the cattle guard at his place and was driving down there, and it caught on fire, and he's obviously stopped and got out, and of course there was buckets and stuff in the back from feeding and some water puddles because it had been raining, so he just got buckets of water out of the driveway, put the fire out. But it did some pretty significant damage in there. At this point, I don't know if it's really worth fixing. Just like it's actually fuel injected, so I mean, it's like a throttle body is what I'm calling that. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but it looks like a throttle body type injection thing. It's burned up. I mean, it's no good. As long as a bunch of wiring as well is burned up. The wiring and stuff doesn't bother me that bad. I can buy wiring harnesses. They're not that expensive, but that throttle body I've been looking up online, and it's close to $700-800 just to get that one piece. So depending on what else I find with this thing, that'll determine whether we actually repair it or just park it, use it for parts. I don't know. I hate to get rid of it. It's still a good machine. I don't really exactly know why it caught on fire. I mean, obviously there was fuel and spark and some oxygen there, but anyhow. So I'm gonna set this thing to a time lapse and do like a little montage just because I'm working on this thing this afternoon, and thanks for listening.